guys, so I'm making this on a whim, recording this on my phone right now. I haven't been around in a while, besides on Twitter. Haven't really been into voice acting. But as you've probably heard from Brandon Plays Stuff's channel and on Twitter, Wubcake has been outed for multiple things, including sexually assaulting Jennabun, my friend, and the MLP fan voice actress that was around during 2013 to 2017. I'm going to get straight to the point with my side and where I was with the Jennabun Wubcake story, and where I came to meet them and play into Jenna's testimony. I figured since not a lot of people go to Twitter, I should bring some of the attention on here as well. So let's start with my document, with how I came to meet Wubcake and Jennabun. I used to be a part of the Brony fandom back in late 2013 till 2017. My channel name was HaleyMarie00VA, and I would usually do impressions of Applejack and Fluttershy. I wasn't known much, but I did end up meeting a few popular fan VAs, including Wubcake, or Lewd Horse VA, which is her current Twitter username. This is my history with Wubcake. I've already come forward with all the proof I have with her, so take what I say in this as you will. But I need to get this off my chest, and decided to come forward officially with what I've experienced with her. When I first joined, I was 13 at the time, and stumbled across a few popular voice impressions of the MLP characters, including Wubcake's. I thought she was so good, I really wanted to talk to her and be friends. I was a fan at the time. I would always watch her videos of her Skype calls with the other fan VAs that I won't mention because it's not really relevant. I don't remember what platform I met her on exactly. I remember I made an animatic to her Mad Mares cover, and she commented on it. That was it for meeting her, but I think I remember finding her Skype through Jennabun, who I met through YouTube direct messages. I commented on a few of Jenna's videos and said I should add her on Skype. Shortly after, I would talk to Jenna and Wubcake and others a lot in a group chat. And I felt so excited and included to be in this and to have some friends. I would message Wubcake a lot, though, on Skype, and I loved talking to her. Later on, I would start uploading voice reels of Fluttershy or Applejack or new covers, and she would comment on them a lot, usually criticizing the way I did them. I get giving tips, but I was 13. She would go pretty brutal sometimes on how I did them, saying things like, do I even practice, or I need to do a lot better, and she would talk down to me a lot. If I was annoying you, then just tell me. But you kept talking to me for some reason, Wubcake. Anyways, I don't remember much of our conversations, and for collaborations we did maybe one comic dub of Applejack and Rarity, and she uploaded a video of a Skype call we were in together for a little while. But that was it, because there was never much with her in private DMs, but in group chats, it would always be her and Jennabun together. They were inseparable. Wubcake would tell Jenna she was much more mature for her age when she was only 12. Wubcake would always put in Jenna's head the dirtiest jokes and have her think it was okay to joke like that as a child. And I would go along with it because Jenna was my friend and my age, so I thought it was fine. Wubcake would host these big calls, and usually I'd be in them, and Jenna too, including a few other minors. Her and these adults would make a lot of sexual jokes and teach us things that we didn't even know at the time, and they would laugh about it and even show us weird porn or just dirty things. Wubcake was 18 the time I met her, and when these calls were going on, there would also be people in their 20s and 30s. Looking back, that was so weird that I was talking to adults daily on my school iPad while I was currently in 7th grade, and that they didn't even think to not talk to us. That's pretty much it of how our friendship was before Jennabun came forward with Wubcake sexually assaulting her in 2015. Jenna was 13 when this happened, and Wubcake was 19, but Jenna just turned 14 during this time. I remember the big call we were all in. Jenna and I were currently dating at the time, and I immediately believed Jenna, because why wouldn't I? As soon as she came forward with this, shit hit the fan. Nobody believed her, just because it was Wubcake, and everybody looked up to Wubcake. Everybody believed Wubcake, and they believed her terrible Google Plus posts and her many Google Docs. It was awful. They would bully Jenna, give her death threats. People would come onto my Ask FM saying things like Jenna was lying and Wubcake is innocent and all that. It was ridiculous, especially because Jenna even told her dad in the call. It took a lot for her to come forward with this. A few days after that happened, though, Jenna and I broke up. Younger me was pretty hurt, and I didn't take it well at all. I lashed out at Jenna, and even went back to Wubcake and the others for comfort. They immediately started being nice and said they forgave me for not believing them. They would draw me things, including Wubcake. She drew her OC hugging my OC, saying, there, it will be okay. Even though before she would barely bat an eye at me, but now we were buddy-buddy. I immediately took their side after, and I regret that every single day. Eventually, I realized they were lying to me, and I tried apologizing to Jenna, but it took a long while, and I understand why it did. Jenna and I became friends again later on, and I haven't thought about Wubcake since, besides of how disgusted I was with what she did to my friend. Now, 10 years later, this has come to light again. Haven't thought about Wubcake in however long, but now I'm seeing this as an opportunity to properly do what I couldn't do for my friend back then. A 19-year-old should have never been hanging out with a 13-year-old in person or talking to children online. And to Wubcake, it's disgusting you ignore all this, and that you haven't spoken out once, but at the same time, I'm not really surprised. You did terrible things to so many people, and sexually assaulting a child really tops the cake. This will never die down. I know you're going to keep ignoring this, promoting your stuff, and acting like you did nothing wrong, but you did. You committed a crime, and I hope this haunts you every single day. Now, with some screenshots that line up with when Jenna came out with everything and what my opinion was. During this time, Jenna and I were in a relationship. We were in a call with Wubcake and a few other people. Jenna became triggered from a depressive episode and confronted Wubcake about it in the call. Here is what I originally posted to Google+, I believe, defending Jenna. Okay, so now you've probably have seen Wubcake's Google+ post, And most of you believe, huh? Well, the story is flipped, actually. I'm sorry, I've been keeping this to myself ever since that call on that night, but we were in a call with some other people, and we were talking about everything after the night where Jenna had a panic attack about something that happened in her family, and she couldn't breathe. So the day after, we were in a call, and she told us that one time she was at Wubcake's house, and Cyclone Dusk was sleeping in another room, and so was Wubcake and Jenna. They were in a different room, and Wubcake raped her. Jenna didn't know what to do. She kept silent about it till that night. She was helpless in that situation because she isn't that strong. But then she was able to stop Wubcake before she went any further. Then Wubcake begged her not to tell anyone, so she didn't. But again, we were in the call, and she finally told us. She even told her dad while she was in the call. So we invited Wubcake into the chat, and we asked her questions, and she admitted she did them. She said that she had multiple personalities from MLP characters, but you can't develop personalities from a show. She said that her adagio came out. My old friend Kitty, or Astro Boy GF, told me that she was in a call with Wubcake one time and said that I was so fucking annoying and too much of a kid in the Piggle group chat, but she knew that I would cry like a little baby and everything. Even though I wouldn't, she had to bring up my depression. Please don't think that I'm standing up for Jenna just because she is my girlfriend, okay? She has a tough life already, and she doesn't need more drama. Why do you believe Wubcake just like that, just because she has more subscribers and a believable story? People can come up with anything and make it believable. Please just think about these sides of stories before you go lashing on Jenna. Thank you. Here is the date that I published it. After this, though, Jenna and I no longer were in a relationship, and I felt hurt by this, so I ended up believing Wubcake and others and not Jenna. I regret doing this, but at the same time, I was a child and really didn't know any better. Here are emails of me trying to reach out to Jenna and trying to reconnect everyone while I was believing Wubcake and everyone else over Jenna. The night you broke up with me, I couldn't be stable anymore. I was going to say no because I just couldn't continue on talking with you after you broke up with me. You hurt me too much. I was seriously almost going to do it because how bad I felt. I loved you so freaking much, and I seriously thought I would be with you forever. But I know how you feel about me becoming friends with them after what they did. But in life, you have to forgive and forget. I really cannot stand myself here. but no matter how hard, if you don't think this has affected me, it has a lot. Every day I feel like this is all my fault, so you should be happy that I'm feeling bad. You hurt me, and you don't give a shit about that. All you care about is that I became friends with them again. So what? So what if I did? What if one of your closest friends became friends with them? Would you just kick them to the curb too? Just tell them, you can be friends with me, but don't talk to me about them in front of me. If you keep pushing everyone away, you are going to be left by yourself. So many people believed Wubcake's post because they know Wubcake would never be like that. They gain up on you because you just say, oh, Wubcake raped me. They want more. They didn't believe that post I made because, one, I was your girlfriend, and two, I wrote it and not you. I couldn't be friends with you after you broke up with me just because of my parents. You're just bringing more drama into your life. I fucking did nothing wrong at all. Goodbye, Jenna. Have a fucking awesome life spreading shitty stuff about us. And if you try to use any of this against me and them, we will try to get the truth out there no matter what. It's 1 to like 18 people. We will give the truth if we have to. Whew. Reading these, really, I don't like how I talked. But Jenna and our friend have said that I was under manipulation and that I was a child and I didn't know any better. So I try to remember that. Reminder that these emails go from bottom to top. I honestly never meant to hurt you, and I'm really sorry. The situation with your friends, I wish I could forgive them, but after everything they've done to me, I can't make myself do that. I know, I just wish you wouldn't have left so soon. I know, I honestly regret it, and I'm so sorry. It's just, you don't know how it feels for something to happen to you and only have your family believe you. It makes me feel alone. I understand people wouldn't think she'd do that, and it's hard to believe it myself sometimes, but I know it happened. I still have nightmares and cry about it sometimes because I don't want to believe it happened. I know. I honestly don't know who to believe. I don't know if it was a dream or if it was real. I don't want to believe that. All I want is happiness and peace, and I sound like a hippie, haha. But going off track, I never thought you, out of all my friends, would mean so much to me, and then I lost you by heart and now by friendship. I've been actually having dreams of you coming back to the group, us having an emotional call, then forgiving and forgetting, not putting it in different sides of the stories. But I guess dreams don't normally come true. I really wish I could. I've had those dreams too, but they've crossed the line. I'm freaking crying right now. I'm sorry. I miss the old times. They do too. I heard them say it loud and clear in calls. We've been discussing this. Yes, they are upset, but Cyclone misses you. He feels awful. Maid said you felt like a sister to him until everything. Jen said you were a great friend and wishes you wouldn't have left. Kitty feels bad and so much more. And Wubcake misses you. She sometimes wishes this never would have happened, and I know you don't believe that, but she does. Yes, she got upset, but everyone pretty much broke down about all this. We miss you and wish genies exist so we could wish none of this would have ever happened. I miss you most of all. I might give them a chance. I don't know how any one of us could handle it. If you do, yes, it will be hard, but just let you know I'm on your side and theirs. Yes, I got upset, but I never hate anyone ever. If they say they are sorry and attempt to fix it, I'll be glad to be their friend again. Talk to them about the possibility of this first and tell me their reactions and opinions, okay? And here are messages from the group chat I was in with Wubcake and others after mentioning trying to fix things with Jennabun. On the looks of it, no. Jen, I don't trust her, nor will I be associated with her after the shit she has done. I can't trust people who cried wolf, Wubcake. I'm sorry, but I can't trust her. Maid, from what has been done, thinking that she'll now suddenly trust us again, not really holding true to the one who touched her, huh? She's trying to reel us in for one last shenanigan, and I don't trust it at all. Wubcake, she might just be doing that to get on your good side. Or even if we did take her back, I personally would be paranoid about her admitting her feelings for me every 2 months. Maid, I'd be worried of her trying to pull something like what she did on someone else. Wubcake, just too much has happened for me to care for her anymore. She betrayed my trust in her. Jen, not to mention, she nearly ruined our friendship with Maid and Wubcake. Maid, she was just trying to push me out of the equation. She was just as unhealthy as Arimus was to Wubcake and I. She just took it to insane lengths. Wubcake. Also, if we welcomed her back, she would just find things that we say that are out of line about her and use it against us. I'm not having another Skype war. Maid, she tried to find the smallest absolute thing about us and use it against us. Jen, indeed. Maid, we complain about how we get these messages on YouTube asking for our Skypes. She goes out and says, Maid and Wubcake hate their fans. Wubcake, besides, she even broke your heart. I don't mind if you are friends with her again, but I'm not going to trust a person who's gone so far to hurt people. Maid, I was pretty much crying on her shoulder because she was there to comfort me after I broke up with Wubcake. While at the same time, she was texting her, saying that she still liked her and they should probably try a relationship while I'm talking about how much I love her. That there shows me what kind of a person she is. Jen, she pissed me off for crying wolf and nearly had me in tears due to my piece of shit sister pulled the same shit. She could have ruined an innocent person's life. Me, I can't take this anymore. I can't believe anything. This is all my fault. I just wish things were okay, but I need to fucking open my eyes and realize nothing will be alright. I'm sorry, guys, for betraying you, for doing this right here. I don't know what to do anymore. Maid, I wouldn't worry about it too much, Haley. I can understand what you're going through. Maid, I've been at that point before, and while the best way to get through it is to sit back and look at everything. Me, I have hope for things too often, and then I get smacked in the face for thinking everything will be all right. Maid, things will be fine. Wubcake, Haley, it is not your fault. None of this is. Maid, you are right for thinking that things will always turn out all right, since I think the same. Jenny wasn't all right. I don't know if she'll ever come clean or think about what she's done to us. She and Aramis were insanely close to ruining what I had in my life. My relationship was nearly taken from me because of two horny and desperate creeps. Not to mention she cried wolf on other people too. Maid, I don't even think about that anymore. She's genuinely been a horrible person to me, while looking innocent and precious to everyone else. Anything I'd say would forfeit because people believe a 13-year-old on the internet. Wubcake, I've talked to a director I know, not naming names, but he's told me that his friend asked around to a lot of people about Jenny, and they've all said she's either been very rude to them, jealous of them, or called them creeps and blocked them when they make a silly joke about penises. She's a bear trap. She's a spoiled kid who's never been told no, and when she is told no, she throws tantrums. Not to mention, Haley, she's tried controlling everyone you hang out with, not just you, but Great Cat and a bunch of other people as well. You can't control who your friends hang out with. It doesn't work like that. You just have to hope things will be all right, but she doesn't know how to do that, obviously. I honestly don't hate her, but I just can't be her friend again after how much she hurt Jen, Cyclone, Maid, Kitty, Rustic, and others. Maid, I get where she's coming from, though, how she doesn't want us being brought up in her life ever again. Although forcing your relationship partner to choose friends or me is just really fucking horrible. It's not like I went around and asked a bunch of my buddies, it's either Purple or me. The best way she should have dealt with it is to ignore us. No matter how hard it may have been, just keep doing what she was supposed to be doing. No matter how hard... Oh, he said that twice. She obviously doesn't know how to control her own emotions, so she forced you to do it for her. And I said to Jenna, I'm sorry. I don't even know if you want to attempt being friends with me. I would be okay trying. I wouldn't talk about them to you at all, but I mean, I don't know. I'm sorry. And this is Jennabun's response to what everyone said. It pains me to this day that my friend was going through so much hurt and no one believed her in this community. She was a child. I was a child. All of us young MLP VAs were children and we were exposed to so many creeps. And Jenna had to experience something so terrible and Wubcake doesn't even care. And friendly reminder, Jenna had to endure all this during her birthday. Jenny. Okay, well, they obviously don't want me in their life, even though I was offering to work things out. I see they don't trust me and things can't go back to the way they were, like I'd hoped. The only reason I choose between was because connections scare me due to the fact that there could be secrets and gossip between each other and I wouldn't know. I wasn't picking out of spite. I was picking out of fear of trust with connections. I never meant to hurt them, and I don't know if they'd ever give me one chance. I'd say sorry, but they seem to hate me, and I don't know what could fix that, if anything could. I just want to be happy with my friends again and forget about this drama like the old days when there was no stress and a respect made in Wubcake together. I'm probably going to date when I'm 16, only with people my age and in real life. I made lots of mistakes that are unforgivable, and I'm sorry for those things. I wish I could take everything back, go back in time and change the past, but I can't. If they ever want to talk, just let me know. I honestly miss my friends, and I wish all this never happened. I'm so sorry. You can send this to them. Wubcake would later also try to come out on Google Plus and try to twist the story around in 2015. I sadly don't have the deleted screenshot. If I find it, I will link it. Now here are screenshots of Jennabun talking with someone after she was grounded from Wubcake by her parents because Wubcake was being disrespectful to them and putting thoughts in Jenna's head. She was truly so manipulative with Jenna, made her go against her own parents. Hey Jenny, saw your status on Skype. Is everything alright? Why are you grounded from Skype? Wubcake got in a fight with my mom, so I'm banned from Skype for now, sadly. Ah, crap. I'm so sorry to hear about that, Jenny. Hopefully it won't be permanent. If you need anything or just to talk, vent, let me know, and we'll work out something. Hope you're holding out all right. My mom said she wants it to be permanent, but I'm going to fight for our friendship. And thanks. It just sucks not being able to go on Skype. I'm even on non-stop for surveillance from my parents. I can't go upstairs to my room, so no recording. And I can't be around my computer. My parents are watching 24/7. Basically, my mom was yelling at me, saying, if you don't eat, you'll die. You'll go in the hospital with IVs and die. Live or die, Jenny. So my friends started out calm, but Mom started being rude to them, so they started being rude back. And then there was a lot of screaming on both ends, lots of insults, and basically my mom got pissed off to the point she never wants me to talk to that friend ever again, and that friend is Wubcake. But I'm going to fight for our friendship because I know it was neither of their faults. The whole silly thing they started because of a food situation, but my mom is stuck in the past and makes up new excuses why we shouldn't be friends. So I'll have to fight for our friendship pretty hard, but I believe I can do it. Wubcake is like my big sister. I'd do anything for her. Oh, believe me, Jenny. I know, and you definitely should fight for your friendship with Wubcake. Sure, you and her sometimes can get into arguments, but you two strike me as being two great friends that love each other and want to look out for each other. I don't think your parents, well, specifically your mom, have much room to judge Wubcake as a bad influence. If anything, the environment in your house with your parents is more toxic on a daily basis than being around Wubcake could ever be in both your and her lifetimes. Just hang in there, all right? I'll keep you in my thoughts and hope that your parents let you come back to Skype soon so that things can go back to the way they were. My mom thinks Maid and Wubcake called her a cunt and an unfit mother and used the word fuck a lot. But I was there, and they never said those things. But of course, my father believes my mother, like always. Wow, to be honest, even if they did say that, are they really that far off from the truth? And second of all, your dad needs to realize your mom's not in her right mind. If she's trying to extort him for painkillers, does he really think he should trust what she says about much of anything? It's such a stupid situation if you ask me. unnecessarily complicated and in an extremely hurtful way to you. Exactly. Well, just keep in touch as best as you can while they're still not letting you use Skype. I can read and send emails on my phone, so if you ever need to vent or whatever, I can pretty much always respond, read any emails you send. I really do hope your parents let you back on Skype again. I know that it's important for you to be able to get onto it because it helps you contact pretty much most of your friends. Hope things do get better soon, Jenny. Jenna has looked over these and truly regrets ever believing Wubcake over her parents. Her parents were some of the kindest souls ever and wanted the best for Jenna, even when she would meet up with Wubcake. They tried so hard to get justice for Jenna. They were angered and disgusted with what Wubcake did. Here are screenshots of Wubcake and Jenna talking about Jenna's feelings for her at the time, which Jenna has looked back on, and it was more admiration than anything, and the manipulation she went through. Jennabun, well, I mean, I would ask you now, but it's probably not the right time. Wubcake, I'm fine. What's up? Jennabun, this message has been removed. Wubcake, I kind of had a feeling, yes. Jennabun, then yeah, you'd guess what the question was, but if it's not the right time for you, I really do understand. Wubcake, yeah, I understand what the question would be. Jennabun, do you think I should wait? Wubcake, the thing is, dear, I'm 19 and you're 13, plus I really don't feel like having a relationship for a while. Even if we were together, it would constantly be on my mind on our age differences and what your parents would think. I'm just plain not interested in dating you. I'd feel like a pedo. I'm a legal adult and you're a minor. Sorry, but friendship, sister, is all that it is. The fact she only denied her because she'd feel like a pedo is disgusting, and that she would think about their ages if they would date. Any normal adult would just say no. Wubcake was 19 and Jenna was 13 at this time, and this was after the sexual assault as well. Also, another thing, here is a drawing made by Wubcake of Jennabun's OC being tortured, and this was discovered to be drawn shortly after Jenna came out about the sexual assault. Warning of gore and disturbing imagery. It's truly revolting to see this made of, my friend. Now towards more of the present. Here's Wubcake's deleted document she made trying to twist the story and say that she was Jenna's babysitter, which is she was in fact not. I would hear about a lot of their hangouts when I was 14 back then. These were not babysitting trips, and Wubcake and other adults would go hang out with Jennabun. Her parents let her because they just wanted her to have some friends and truly didn't mean anything bad by it. Wubcake side, archived. Pedo accusations. This story goes back to 2014. Oh my lord. Some of you may remember a person named Jennabun. She was an old collaboration partner of mine. We met online from a mutual My Little Pony group, and she messaged me asking for voice acting advice, and we soon video called and started making goofy video fan dubs. Her parents and I met, and they offered to pay me and my local friends to babysit. Take her to the mall, kind of like a big brother, big sister thing. This would be my first real job, being 17, 18 around this time. We gathered together in person at their house. Her mother was very intoxicated and handed us money soon. My friends and I started this routine of bringing her to the movies, the mall, to my house. I lived with my grandmother at this time to watch My Little Pony, as per her parents' request, etc. Wubcake saw me as a big sister idol figure and would hang out in a chat she frequently voice called with my ex-boyfriend Maid. I found it a bit odd how they voice called so often until one day, while Jennabun, friends and I were sitting in the car, Jenna pulls up her phone and shows me a picture of 18-plus artwork he drew of her My Little Pony OC. He had also done this with another minor he was in contact with Anon. When he was confronted about this, his excuse was, well, they asked me for it. A lot of people stopped talking to Maid because of this. I wish I had too. Jennabun told me she had a crush on me. I laughed it off and told her, you'll find somebody someday. She thanked me for the encouragement. Then she confessed a second time, then a third. I kept telling her that she had already told me, only for her to say she didn't even remember it. She claimed to have DID, dissociative identity disorder, and would frequently talk to people as Fluttershy, but naturally people just thought she was voice acting. She then convinced me again as Fluttershy, and I played along with, well, Jenna already told me, and you know I'm an adult. Apparently this upset her to the point where she dated Anon as revenge on me. Then she dropped her and dated someone else before one night I get pulled into a voice chat and people ask if I molested her. I was shocked, confused, and I told them no. Jenna was in the call, but did not talk the entire time. They even brought in a friend whom I had no longer been associated with that gave me panic attacks due to trauma. I started crying and saying, "What are you talking about? Why are you doing this?" I thought this was some ex-friend drama more than anything, and my friends were about to leave me. Nobody ever confirmed or denied anything. I contacted a close friend of mine at the time, telling them, "I don't know what's going on, but if you think I'm some kind of pedophile, you can take my computer, search it, anything, ask." Several people ended up reaching out to Jennabun, in which Jenna told them it was just a bad dream she had, and she felt really, really bad for the accusations. After everything was cleared up, a couple people tried asking me if I would be friends with her again, since she apologized, and I told them no. I hadn't heard anything about her since. It's hilarious she tried twisting this around to make it seem like she did no wrong. But she doesn't do herself any good anyways, because an 18-year-old should have never been hanging out with a 13-year-old. I've been updating Jenna and our friend about this since the beginning of February, since I only recently found out about this whole thing then. Eventually, after the third Stop Wubcake video came out with Jenna's testimony, she would then later say her final word, and I would post it to Twitter for her since she doesn't want to be involved in this personally for her own safety and well-being. Jenna would do this because Wubcake and others denied it's her just because it says inactive. Like on Wubcake, what Wubcake said. Yep, this is all their evidence. The Jennabun one is also like this. No name, no profile pic, just a paragraph. Like, come on, how are people falling for this? Well, here you go. Here's your proof. I'm deciding to speak out myself since I'm tired of this whole situation being seen as drama and seeing claims that this account is not me. Firstly, this is not drama. This is a crime that happened in real life many years ago to me. I was groomed when meeting Wubcake at age 12, sexually assaulted when I was 13, and continued to be groomed until I initially came out about this. I've already given my full testimony in Brandon's video, so I won't go over everything again, but I just deem it necessary to make it clear that this is an extremely serious and traumatizing experience. I was silenced for over 10 years due to the threats Rustic and Wubcake had made towards me regarding my safety. For example, knowing where I lived and being good with hacking. But I'm finally in a place where I won't let it control me anymore. She has changed her story so many times at this point, initially confessing to sexually assaulting me when I was 13 in a call with multiple people present, then saying it was her other personality who did it, then claimed it was me, a child, who came on to her first, then claiming it didn't happen, and finally saying she was my babysitter until she decided to delete that document. My story has not changed, and it never will. I will stick by all of my statements, even from years prior, because it is the truth, and I'm sick and disgusted with her trying to come up with excuses. Finally, to her and anyone thinking that this account isn't me, Jennabun, I've decided to attach a short voice file at the end of this message. This is the most I can offer in order to still keep myself as anonymous as possible, because I still am traumatized for my safety after so many years. But hopefully this helps at least a little bit. Thank you for letting me speak out about this.
Yes, this is Jennabun.
Also, another message from Jennabun to Wubcake trying to ignore all of this and deny she ever did anything, since she wanted a name by the message so badly. If she thinks not talking about it is going to make it go away, that just isn't true. She can't silence me as a victim anymore. The other thing that I keep thinking about is that if this was really all fake, then I would not be trying this hard to get the word out there, obviously. That's a waste of my time and energy. I've come across many pedos and creeps from being online over the years, and even had a stalker at one point. Jenna has too. But none of them ever succeeded more than being just creepy, which is still not right. But Wubcake did something unforgivable to my friend in person and succeeded, so I'm not going to give up on this. It's complete insanity what she has done and continues to do so. I think I've covered everything I've come forward with. So now I'm going to go over Jennabun's testimony again. I do not want her story left in the dust. She is my best friend, and she never deserved this. Nobody does. Own up to what you did, Wubcake. I first met Wubcake when I was 12 years old. Prior to that, my name was Pegasus Reacts, but I changed it to Jennabun once I started wanting to develop an actual persona for myself. I was a really big fan of this show and loved trying to do impressions of the characters around my friends and family. They knew I was always incredibly passionate about content creation and singing ever since I was younger, so they encouraged me to try to become being serious about it and making comic dubs, etc. I was looking through other people who did similar content and came across multiple of Wubcake's videos, and they were really entertaining to me. She sounded super charismatic and funny, and I felt like I wanted to be friends with her. Now that I'm older, though, I can definitely say a 13-year-old should not have any type of relationship with adults, but I didn't understand that at that age. I contacted her through Gmail messaging first, and I wasn't expecting her to respond to someone who was a fan, but she did to my surprise. We started contacting her through there for a bit, and eventually I asked her if she'd be comfortable adding me on Skype, which she agreed to. We then started talking on Skype more often, and eventually started doing collaboration videos together on each of our channels. She introduced me to a bunch of her friends, and I was in a couple of groups on Skype with them. I found out that she lived close to me, so we ended up agreeing to meet with each other. I talked to my parents about it, and they were understandably wary and skeptical, considering it was one, a stranger I met on the internet, and two, someone much older than me. But because I was struggling very severely mentally and struggled to make friends, my dad agreed to meet up with me publicly at a pizza place near us. Looking back, I agree my parents should have been more strict about this situation, but I really do think they just wanted me to be happy. I can still understand now that I'm older that they should have done more to prevent it, but what's done is done. I wish I could have given my parents testimonies too, but unfortunately my mother passed away in 2017 and my father passed away in 2020. After me and my dad met up with her at the pizza place near us, she seemed completely normal and super friendly and trustworthy. We met up with me and my dad and her a couple of times after that in public places, but eventually Wubcake suggested for Halloween in 2013 that we go to the hotel her friend Purple Rosalind lived at with her and her friend Rustic. Eventually we got to the hotel and we spent most of the time downstairs in the lobby area. I don't really remember too much about it, to be honest, but I remember there being a lot of balloons and festive decorations, probably for Halloween. After that, I started spending days at her house where she lived with her grandmother. At first, I just spent the day there, but eventually it turned into overnight stays. It would either be Rustic or Cyclone driving us there since my mom couldn't drive in the dark and my dad couldn't drive long distances because of his back. Her grandmother offered me to sleep in her bed with her the moment I met her, which made me pretty uncomfortable. It was pretty weird looking back, but I ended up sleeping in the same bed as Wubcake, usually at the end of the bed or sometimes next to her. Cyclone would usually sleep on the couch outside her bedroom. Eventually one day, when Cyclone was driving us to her house, we stopped at the side of the road in a foresty area, and she told me she needed to come out about something. She asked me not to judge her, and I promised her I wouldn't. Then proceeded to explain that she had multiple personality disorder, with her personalities being characters from the show My Little Pony. I had no idea what that was, but blindly decided to trust her because I never wanted to believe she could lie to me. I said I understood, and from that point on she started switching into her other personalities around me very frequently. She claimed that she had these personalities ever since she was 6 years old, but these characters did not exist back then. I never questioned that, though, due to the blind faith I had at the time. Eventually, she started trying to separate me from everyone close to me in my life. She would hang out with me in my bedroom and start insulting my mom and dad, claiming my mom was a narcissist and that I shouldn't trust my dad. She told me that she should be the only big sister in my life and that I shouldn't be relying on my actual sisters for any type of support. I should solely rely on her. She also tried separating me from my only IRL friend at the time, and unfortunately it worked. My relationships with my parents, my sisters, and my best friend became extremely unhealthy. I would lash out at them due to the words she put in my head, and I would ignore them as much as possible to prioritize my time with her and only going forward to her for any support. I think she wanted to have as much control in my life as possible and make sure I would only rely on her for anything. Unfortunately, ever since I was in elementary school, I have dealt with severe mental disorders such as depression, anxiety, PTSD, among other things. I was in a very vulnerable state, especially at such a young age, with no known coping mechanisms and not many people to rely on. She took advantage of that and successfully cut off my ties with everyone in my life besides her. My best friend would keep trying to reach out to me, but I would shun her. My parents would try to talk to me, but I would shut them out too. I believed everything she said about them because I thought she knew it was best for me. Eventually, she managed to convince me I also had multiple personality disorder with similar characters of My Little Pony. Dealing with this on top of my already struggling relationships with my loved ones and my poor mental health was a disaster. It was one of the lowest points in my life. I never felt closer to her than that moment, though, and that was probably exactly what she wanted. I solely relied on her. I worshipped her. I thought that she was the only one who could ever understand me and mistook those for romantic feelings. I would tell her about my feelings pretty often, and she would say such things as, I wouldn't be able to get our age difference out of my head, and what would other people think? Then one of her personalities, Adagio, started flirting with me and encouraging me to keep pushing for it because she knew she liked me back. I believed her personality at the time, and eventually one night as I was sleeping over at her house, that personality came out. I was sleeping on the end of the bed with Cyclone sleeping on the couch outside her bedroom, and she started telling me to come to sit closer to her. I eventually complied and sat next to her so we were laying down face to face. She then started putting her leg between my two legs and rubbing it in between and moaning super loud. She then kissed me on the lips and started slobbering over my mouth with her tongue. I felt extremely sick and like I was going to throw up, but I wasn't able to move. I felt frozen and vulnerable and didn't know what to do. I don't know how long that went on for, but eventually she grew tired of it and went to sleep. I sat at the edge of the bed, tossing and turning, but eventually just wasn't able to get any sleep. That following morning, I opened up the door to the bedroom and asked Cyclone if he heard anything last night, because I was trying to get assurance that maybe it didn't happen. He said he didn't hear anything, so I started deluding myself into thinking maybe it was a dream. I was 13 and she was 19 by the time this happened, by the way. This was way after the Halloween party in 2013 and became 2014. We continued hanging out after that and acting like everything was normal, but in the back of my mind I kept remembering that night in vivid detail. I didn't want to believe it, so I kept trying to push it away. Eventually, many months later, I had a severe depressive episode and felt like I needed to speak with her because she was my only support system at that time. She claimed she was watching a movie with Maid, and I felt hurt that she was prioritizing a movie over helping me. That led to me becoming extremely emotional, triggered from the depressive episode, and I confronted her about the sexual assault. We got in a group call afterwards with a bunch of people. I don't remember who exactly was there at the time since it was such a long time ago, but I remember Maid, Rustic, Cyclone, and Purple Roseland being present. I then confronted her about it via voice in the group call, and she broke down crying on video, constantly apologizing and saying how sorry she was. I came out to a few trusted friends at the time after that because I was too scared to tell my family and best friend in real life since our relationship was awful due to her. Eventually, it somehow got spread online to a bunch of other people and just became a chain reaction. Immediately, people started taking her side, and I was constantly harassed online during my streams, in the comments of my videos, on Skype, everywhere. I had hundreds of people telling me to kill myself, cut myself, and a bunch of extremely descriptive, horrifying things to say to a 13-year-old. She came out on YouTube with a post on her timeline, claiming I was a pathological liar and extremely manipulative. She then deleted that post shortly afterwards. I kept trying to make content throughout all of this because it was what I loved doing, but eventually her and her friend Rustic deleted my YouTube channel. Her and Rustic had moderator privileges to my channel. I was a complete mess at the time, and it eventually came out to my parents and best friend about everything. They wished I told them sooner, and luckily we reconnected and reconciled with each other. She then threatened to call my parents to tell them what I did, I guess referencing my claims against her, and she failed because my parents did not believe a random 19-year-old adult woman I met online over their own 13-year-old daughter. I don't know what she was trying to do there. I tried a few more times with content creation, but the harassment kept following me anywhere I went from her fans. I also forgot to mention that she kept making the excuse that it must have been a vivid nightmare regarding this sexual assault, since she knew I struggled with vivid nightmares and used that to her advantage. I tried coming back to her a few times because I felt like my life was worthless if she wasn't in it. She unfortunately brainwashed me to believe that it was at the time. Now that I'm 22 years old now, I am still extremely traumatized from the grooming that she initiated, the toxic relationship she caused, and the sexual assault she inflicted on me. I am extremely repulsed from anything sexual now, and struggle even with giving people hugs. Any type of physical contact is a trigger for me. I've talked about this in therapy multiple times, and have tried to take this to the police, but unfortunately, due to the lack of evidence, since most of this occurred in person, it was futile. I try not to think about it anymore, but I unfortunately still do, and she's inflicted a scar in me that's never going to go away. I don't want her to get away with doing this to a 13-year-old child. It is sickening, and I don't want this to happen ever again to another potential victim. She never should have become friends with a 12-year-old to begin with the time I met her as an 18-year-old, as an adult, but she took it many steps further than that. Thank you for letting me tell my story. It's been 7 years since this happened, but it still hurts me to this day, and I'm glad I finally have the opportunity to resolve to come forward with this. Here is what Wubcake currently goes by right now. Do not harass her. If you're going to say anything, then call her out, but do not send death threats or be violent. We're adults here. Act like it. This is her NSFW Twitter. This is her SFW Twitter. Her new YouTube, she's trying to rebrand on so she doesn't have to go by Wubcake. Wubcake does not deserve a platform. She deserves to be in jail. Marjorie, own up to what you did, because I'm not going to stop spreading my best friend's story. Thank you for your time, everyone.